Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of TimberPunk 2, where the bad water source of doom is now providing us with so much juice. So much juice. But I don't mean just bad water, I mean like power. So much power. Problem is, it's 5,000 miles from our system. So we have to connect this, otherwise it's basically useless for us, and well, we don't like useless things in here, so let's get that rectified today. And I have a couple ideas to how I want to actually tackle that, or at least one idea in particular, and that has something to do with running through this cave system down here and punching up through here and tapping into this, which means I don't have to build up and over and down and around. And that should be relatively simple, except for the fact that we're out of bad water. Sure, we've got a little bit down here that we can pump out, and of course we have the bad water of doom system up here that we can pump from. But that takes a while to get to. So that also means that we'll probably end up working through some tubeway systems here today as well. Get that over here. And we'll have to run this up and into a clean area in a way that doesn't cause an issue as far as our future plans of having a reservoir here. Now, I think we'll also tackle a portion of that today, so that we'll probably come in here, blast a bit of this out, and clean this up, and put in a series of sluice gates in here, so that sluice gates and levees. Wow, I can speak English. I know that's hard for people to comprehend, or for me to comprehend that. So we'll get into that here. And that also means that we could start running power to all of these systems, which will provide us with copious amounts of water for the foreseeable future. Now, while that's all going on, we're also going to have to put up a series of levees over here. And that's the word, levees, to get all of this blocked off, so none of this water from these two aquifers run off the side of the world. And the same for this one back here, though that one should just spill down into this system, then out over here. I don't think the thorns are going to hamper our water movement. However, these systems, all these aquifers over here, we did a little look-see on the last stream that we did on the YouTubes, and we had the illustrious game, or the map dev himself, rolling around in here with us and laughing maniacally as I pointed out the fact that each and every single one of these aquifers has a 0.2 strength associated with them, so they're not going to be pushing out a lot of water. That actually applies to all of the aquifers. So that explains why we're having a little bit of a water issue. But anyway, I digress. So what we'll be doing today is we'll be tackling this power system, running that through into here, as well as over here, and that should provide more than enough power for all of our systems. Game, I'm going to fight you if you keep doing this to me. And that should mean that industry gets to finally move 24/7 without us burning through copious amounts of water and building more of these engines, which is going to be a glorious thing. And some of you have pointed out some beautiful ideas as far as taking advantage of these geothermal vents over here, that we can actually juice our iron bots in perpetuity through those systems. And I think that is a great idea. And we might even tackle that if it takes too long for us to get this up and running and connected down here. Push comes to shove, we could probably just tackle or throw in some power shafts and get some sort of charging station system up here. Sure, it's going to be about as long as attractive as it would be to get up here. And sure, this power isn't being used for anything during the droughts anyway, because these don't actually do anything during the droughts or the bad tides. But that is fine. We'll tackle it one way or another. So that's the going in game plan for today. Get lumber, get this going here, get this power all the way down into here, and blast down in here and run a bunch of tubeway systems so we can start working up here. And getting the tubeway system up in this area provides us with an opportunity to pump water out of this reservoir while we continue to work on all of the requirements for running water out into our main reservoir over here with a nice little aquifer that runs through it. And that, of course, entails a bunch of dirt and a bunch of other things that we're not quite ready for yet, but we will be there soon, hopefully. So let's go ahead and get into the game. We're going to hit that 3 times speed here, get the game rocking and rolling, and we'll see how things are looking. Water-wise, we're looking pretty strong, which is a fantastic thing to see. Food is not in the best positions, but that has something that probably has to do with we only have 3 fermenters up and running, and that's something that I would like to rectify at some point today. Though that is low on the priority list, we are producing enough food to meet the demand for our current beaver colony requirements, so that shouldn't be an issue. And of course, on top of that, I would like to also get in our wood workshop so we can get treated planks going, since we do have a source of pine resin now, since all of these are not being torn down for lumber at this point. But I digress. Let's go ahead and come over here, check on how this is going. This is still producing 18,000 units of power, which is a glorious amount of juice for us, which is fantastic. I still don't recall why I had these guys working on this. It's been a week since I've got to sit down and actually record, so I'll let them work on that. It's probably going to be nice for us to delve into all of that in the future. But let's go ahead and start looking at this whole system. So that means tearing out that right there, and we're probably going to need to tear this out here, as well as probably this looks a little something like that. And then we just run our power through here without too much issue over to here, and we go ahead and go up right here, and then we go over like such as. Now, if we do something like this, throw that in right there, and go ahead and say, grab one of these, throw that in. Well, we don't need a 3. We need a 4. We need a triple, which is good use of our real estate there. And we go ahead and throwing some charging stations like that. And then we give this a plus up right there and right here. Let's just go ahead and plus up all that right there. Let them work on that. So that'll be something for them to work on. We do have 3 spare bots running around, so we can unpause that and get them back to building. There have been some changes, allegedly, from the latest patches that have come down the pike from the Timberborn devs that mean that these guys actually should pull any materials that they find out and about and throw them into their storage here, and then somebody somewhere should eventually come over and clean some of that up for us, which would be a nice thing for them to do. And I think we should also do something about all of these thorns down here now that they are since we're working primarily with bots and tearing out, or in the builder's huts, so we can actually make a nice clean workspace for all of our farming down here, which would be a glorious, and so we won't have a thorn in the corns, you know. I think that's everything thorn-wise down there. I think that's good. Sweet. All right. And then we could probably even just hit this over here too. This will be relatively low on the priority list. I want them to work on all of this over here so that we can focus on things that are beneficial to our beavers. We need them to bring blocks up, but I gave them a priority to work on something else. So that's going to give them a little something to work on right now, so let's just let them do that. And once that's cleared out, we can start moving power down. The question is, I think what we do is we punch down right here, and then we punch down right beside it as well. And now that I'm remembering that I need to turn this back on so we can pump out some bad water while we're working. Now we're dipping into our hauling posts, which isn't the greatest. Oh, additionally, one more thing that came out of the latest patch is if the builders aren't actively doing something, they should go out and start hauling some stuff for us too, which is fantastic, you know? That is a really great use of their time, a really great use of our time too. So that should help with a little bit of the industry movement of materials around and through the area. So that is a pretty Gucci. And we'll go ahead and throw those in, get that connected right there. We'll give this a plus up just so that this can get connected. And then what we're going to do is probably start blasting down here and here. I think that's a good... Yeah, so what I'm thinking is we'll raise this up and we'll put our tubeway station on a raised platform here as well, so that we can save as much water down in this reservoir as possible, and we don't... Well, in theory, actually, you know what? That's not necessary, because the tubeway station does not need to be on open, dry land. The tubeway station, it doesn't cause any problems if it's underwater, so that they can still actually walk there and or to and from. So, you know what? That's fine. I like that. So we're going to push forward with that assumption in hand, and we'll go ahead and blast this out, and then we'll keep working our way down here. Now, I don't know exactly where that's going to come out from, so let's go ahead and pause the game for a second real quick. So this is our bad water source. And that is right there, and that pushes down a fair bit. So we're going to have to cut back from about here over, which isn't that bad. We'll want to cross over this right here. Probably right here, and then also right here. And then run tunnels. Let's do 2. Let's have them stacked. I feel like that's the best option. Having them stacked means that we can work 2. Well, in theory, it should be able to work 2 at a time on either side. I don't know. One way or the other, we'll get it doped out, and that shouldn't be that big of an issue. Let's go ahead and pull this over and see where this sits on top, and that should be darn near perfect. So that means that we get to pull this over by 1, and that one goes away, and that one is the right spot there for us, and that is beautiful to see there. Do we want it 2 wide, or do we want it 1 wide? That is the real question. I think 2 wide. Sure, we'll go with 2 wide. Since we're already over here like this, let's let that clear up right there, and that shouldn't be an issue for anybody involved. And we can just go ahead and throw that in and see where that places us up top, which it actually puts us pretty close by. We could tear this out. Nah, that's not necessary. That's fine. Or we can just run it from here. That's probably the smarter idea, though that doesn't really give us much leeway. You know what? Let's do this. Let's run this side here, and then we clear this path out, or clear that out right there. And that does put us in a decent spot, and that should work just fine. I gave us a little bit more clearance to rip more of those trees out for us there too, which is a fantastic thing. So we get a little bit more lumber, and now we can path over here, and that means that we can make our way downtown. Let's go ahead and throw in a few more platforms. This is probably unnecessary, but it's in preparation for movement of things, your stuff and things in the near future. So that is cool. Now we can come back up top, give this a look-see, see what's happening. We're waiting on explosives, which are on pause because we're out of, well, yeah, we're not out of bad water, but we're out of bad water. Which is fine. We can't really build over top of this like that, but we can build over top of this like this and like... No, do I want 4 or 3? Maybe I want 4. Probably not necessary to do this with that. Maybe, I don't know. Is this even smart? Is this worth our time? Maybe, I'm not sure. No, I don't want that. Actually, you know what? We'll... You know what? I think I know what we want to do. We'll do this like this. We'll do triples. Then we can put our pumpers right there on this side. Like such as, and they can pump that to their heart's content. Probably save a little bit of metal blocks there. But we could just throw in a small storage tank and have this as bad water, and that can be a supply depot. And that'll be a good use for all of that. Now we do have a few beavers with nothing to do with their hands, so we can come over and pause these guys so they can go haul for us for a little bit. We still have 6.9 nice K units of water. That should be more than enough to meet our demands for our beavers for the next 20 days. I think. I hope. Yes, that should be enough. Should be more than enough. All right, cool. That is running. We could probably slow down a little bit on this end. We're going to have to slow down a little bit on this end because our demand, our supply signal isn't high enough, and I want... Yeah, our power supply isn't high enough to meet the demand signal for all of the systems here. So let's go ahead and slow down a little bit on this end. I kind of need all that material running, but I don't have the power or the water to meet the demand there right now. We could move some of the industry up here. That would be beneficial to us. However, I can't be bothered right now with anything like that. Let's go ahead and check on how this is coming along down here. Bots are moving. They are blasting through here, which is fantastic. And we should be able to throw in an additional forester flag right here to go ahead and rip through some more of these trees in here, which would be great, which means we can start running pathing back there appropriately. Pull this back up and see where we can throw in a few more bots right there. That's put them all to work without too much consternation, which is a fantastic thing to see. And they are building this up here quite quickly, which will provide us with copious amounts of bad water for the future, which is glorious. Just a fantastic. Let's go ahead and move some more of this. I do kind of want to give this a plus up as priority. I think we'll just downgrade this priority-wise because we are kind of running low on the metal block production. Kind of because we've paused 2 of our 3 smelters, so that is preventing us from speeding that up, which is fine. Go ahead and swap these guys over. That's okay. We still have 3 regular beavers with nothing to do with their hands, and probably have 6, honestly. We could throw in an additional hauler's post. Another hauling post would not be a bad idea. There is a set of thorns right there. Give that a max priority so that we can have this nice little plot of real estate back. And I kind of just want to clear this up. You know what? It's been sitting here long enough. We might as well clear it out. Might want to think about dumping some water into here just so we can get all these trees back. They will not survive the duration or the remainder of this drought, which is kind of stinky. Something I would like to do is probably get over here, blast this out, and put some tunnels down through here so we can irrigate these or put water back in these little pondlets or future pondlets so that we can have that as a beautiful place for water storage for irrigation purposes in the future. And you guys have been commenting that you want to see something like this. So we could store some water in here. I honestly don't think it'll store that much water in this tunnel, but you know what? We'll do it. I'll throw it in. If it stores some, good. If it doesn't, well, then it's fine. We didn't waste that much in the material. So that should be okay. Now let's keep blasting our way down here. That should put us near to where we had planned stuff out. Let's go ahead and plus this up priority-wise. We have 4 more explosives on hand, which is not what we want to see. We're out of planks again, which is also not what we want to see, but we should be able to recoup a fair amount of our planks from this back here. Not much, but it is some. And that will allow us to continue to push in back there. Might need to plus up the priority on this one right here just a tad bit, so we can get bad water up and running, and we can go ahead and give that a button too. We're still at 18,000 units of power, which is fantastic. You love to see that. And how? All right. How are we doing elsewhere? Why do we... Okay, we have 5 injured beavers. Where are they working? It's probably the bot assembler that's hurting our beavers right now, which is kind of stinky. You hate to see it. I would love to get the science up and running, but this costs a ton of materials to move one of these guys. I don't have 100 gears. I don't have the planks, and I don't have the metal blocks. So, like, we would get 3/4 of the material back from tearing this down, which isn't that bad. We would basically be able to recoup that eventually, and we would be able to actually tap into this, but I think we're fine just blasting this down and running our power through here. And now we are down to that level, and that means that one more explosive here puts us on level or on par with that, and that also means that we need to start working through our tubeway system, which I would like to give this a priority bump right there, and then that means that we can start throwing in our vertical tubeways. I do need to get extract moving again too, which means burning 2 more beavers in here, which is fine, but do we have the power to meet that demand? Not really. How are we doing water-wise? We've got 6K units of water. We've gone through 900 units of water in the past couple of days. I think we're doing decent on water... On our water storage right now. This is about to dry out, which means all of this is about to start drying out, which isn't good. We don't want to lose our berries because we kind of need those. It means probably turning this guy back on too, because I would like to keep as much of our foodstuffs as possible. They did come over here and throw this in, question mark, or they just started throwing it in. Looks like they've thrown in the bottom one. Let's see here. I think with that down there, we could probably pull this up to a depth of 2. Or no, you know what? We'll call this up to like 13.8. And then the rest can spill over the top as necessary. I really don't know if that's going to do anything for us, but you know what? We'll see. We shall see. We have that real estate back to us now, so that's cool. We can throw in a few more cassavas over here, which is cool. They are tearing out these thorns, which is also cool. You love to see that. Let's see here. How is this coming along? That's in. They did tear that out for us too, which means we can rip this out, and I would like to give this a plus up as well. Did I turn this back on? No, I did not. Power-wise, we're still not meeting demand there, but we can just turn one of these back on. That should be fine for now. Theoretically, we should have power attached relatively soon. Do need to tell them to actually pick this lumber up Otherwise, it's going to expire on us, and we don't want that to happen. These now, yeah, they have 15 days left there. These have 12 days left there, so that's not good. We'll give this a plus up too. They should be able to reach that from on top. And that should be fine. I don't think they can reach much further back here, so we'll just run that like such as. And now we can come back up here and wait for the game to stop fighting me. And now we can come down here and start throwing in our vertical tubeways. Like such as. All the way to the top. Then we throw in our impermeable floor right there. And we do the same with this as soon as that gets thrown out, which should be now-ish. We have somebody working in here. That's good. We might throw a bot in here. We've got 800 science, so we can throw at that so they can pump that out. Get that turned on and get that up and running for us. And that also means now that we could probably throw in our tubeway station right now. And they can work that. We'll give this a priority so that they can... Well, they can't build down. They have to actually... Yeah, never mind. We're not going to prioritize that. We'll actually pause that so we can work from behind here. Why are we not putting this in? We have the one explosive that we need, so that should be feasible. I'm not entirely sure why that is... Oh, it's because I told them to clean up all of that lumber down here. That makes sense. Okay, you're bored, so you can go do something else with your hands. You've got plenty of lumber to work with for now, so that is good. That is being built, and we are working our way back here, which is fantastic to see. We can go ahead and rip all of that out. Now, I'm keeping an eye on our material here for the next part of our plan, which is running or putting in all of our aquifers over here. Now, we have plenty of lumber for this whole plan right here. And I'm thinking, do we go ahead and tap into the dirt excavator? I'm not opposed to it. I just don't really have a place to put it. We could put the dirt... Well, if we put the dirt excavator in here, that's going to be an issue for us. I don't want to put it anywhere else. We could put the dirt excavator over here. It wouldn't cause any issues because they would put it on the ground already. That shouldn't be a problem. Maybe we put it back here. Not opposed to that. So let's see here. Dirt excavator, you would fit perfectly fine right there. You need a few of those trees taken out, which is fine. Go ahead and get somebody in there. Get that marked for cutting. It is marked for cutting. We'll give this a max priority to get somebody over there to clean or put that in for us. And we've gone through 2,000 or about 1,300 units of water in the past 4 days. We should be fine water-wise. Yes, we should be okay water-wise. We are filling this in, so we are using a little bit more water than we were before. But I think we're good to pause these guys for a little bit, get those back into work elsewhere. Did they get that out of there? They did, so that means we can put in our hauling post, which is what we wanted to throw in there a little bit ago. That will work there. Let's check on the tunnel down here. They are working their way through here, which is a fantastic thing for us. We can rip this out, rip that out, rip that out, rip that out. And now we can go ahead and plus up all this material so they can come over here and clean all that up for us, which would be grand. Check out how this is coming along. They've made good progress on all of that, which is fantastic. This is ready for us to start running our power system, our vertical power shafts, all the way to the top. right there. And then we also would like to give this a priority bump. Right here, right here, right here. And we would throw on top of that our impermeable floor right there. Now we can seal this area off and prevent water from spilling over, which is a good thing for us. Now let's go ahead and just run that like such as, and they can throw that in. We should have enough lumber for them to work on that. They are slowly throwing those in for us, which is good. That just requires a lot of planks and some metal blocks, which we have the metal blocks. It's again the planks that are holding us up. The question is, did they get this built yet? Nope. It's waiting on one more plank that will go. That will be our place for our 7. Our 7 beavers that are doing nothing with their hands now. Yep, there we go. Sweet. Awesome. Let's go ahead and rip this out right here. Give them a way over this somehow. Or over this. How do we want to get over there? How do we want to get over there? Didn't really think that through. Okay. Let's see here. We could just run that this way. Well, no, the power connections would need to come from somewhere like that. I didn't think this through. That path is in the way. That should give us a green spot there now, which it does. We could just run the path around the side. Well, let's see here. Actually, let's see. We could do something like this. Yeah. I don't have our sparkly planks up and running. That's going to be a problem. We can't really put the sparkly plank workshop over here. Oh, we have a stranded beaver. What are you doing stranded, my guy? What are we doing there, my dude? You're not supposed to be doing that. That's not how you're supposed to do those things there, friend. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. 1000%. Let's get that overhang finished. It was just waiting on them to smack it. Let's do that so I can get this finished. That would be great. That'd be huge. It's 4,500 units of water available to us and 8 days of a bad tide running for us there too. So that is going Gucci. This is all just waiting on logs and planks and gears and stuff. Let's wait on the autosave to do autosave things. Let's check on this down here, and then we can start looking at the next project that we have on hand, which is getting over to our reservoir and cleaning some of that up. Did I put that in? I did not put that in. All right. That is this guy here. Let's go ahead and burn the signs. We'll plug that in there. They should be able to reach that. We'll path around and over. And we'll probably go ahead and unlock our workshop here as well. So that means throwing that in. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to do that, but that will be fine. Go ahead and just put that in a little bit like such as, and then we throw in our woodwork shop back here. Is that connected power wise? It's not, but it will be there. That can go in like so. Now we just grab this, we run around this side, we run there. Now we run our path this way and that way. And now we grab this, rip that out, rip this out because that's unnecessary. We put our stairs in right there. That runs this way and that goes into there. This will take a minute for that to all get done. We don't have treated planks, so we can't even put that in. Heck, we don't even have the gears, so that's going to be a pause for that guy, and we'll wait for all that material to reach its required state of existence. I should have thought about the fact that we don't have treated planks. There are treated planks hiding there, those somewhere. Where did I see those? They're not in here, are they? No, that's dirt. Regular planks. Water back here. Explosives, logs, scrap. Okay. That's not cool. And rip that up to the top. Let's turn this back on for a little bit so we can get our cassava working again for us and re-irrigate those trees back there. Let's check on all this over here. It's going fantastically, swimmingly so beautiful. Toss in another one of those guys right there. And check on power. I think we can turn one of these guys back on. Maybe two. And maybe we swap these guys over to bots so that we can get those running a little bit more better. And I think we can slow down the building for a little bit and get those stocked appropriately. And that'll be a fantastic old thing to see. That means all of that gets running beautifully. This is all just waiting on planks. All that is just waiting on planks. Okay. How is this coming along down here? It should be looking beautifully. And it is. And now we get to clean up more of our plank mess down here, which is glorious to see. It means we get a little... All right, there we go. Get those planks out of there. Let's give this a plus up. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. We're good there. And that should be enough planks to meet the demand up top. And then after that, we can go ahead and start running this tubeway system this way. And we'll punch through here, and we might go down and through. We'll have to... Well, we can't really do that. I want to go over that, actually, so that's probably the... Yeah, we'll have to go up and over, because I don't want to mess with the Badwater River that runs through here. Because that's as low as it goes. How low does it go? How low does it go? Alright, that's fine. Let's see here. I would love to get over here and run power this way in the next 4 days. How do we do that? That looks like... Running this like this. And then... like that. We do a little something like this. And then... it turns into that guy right there. Now we run this here. And we go ahead and start ripping this out here. That out there. Not mark that for cutting. Yeah, we'll mark it. We'll mark it for destruction, actually. There's no need not to. Clear that all the way out to there, and then we can go this way. Now, let's see here. Since we're waiting on planks and... well, there's 110 planks that just came out of nowhere. Okay, well, let's give this a plus up. And let's give this a plus up. Well as this. And then this. Get all of that connected for free. There's a random tree in the way. We'll go ahead and get that ripped out too. And that will be a beautiful thing for that to work on. And that will be a glorious... you know what? We don't need to actually rip that out. You should be able to reach that. You can't reach that. You know what? We'll just put you in right there. Give that a plus up. Get somebody up here. Tear out all those trees for us. That'll be good. Whatever they can reach, that'll be fantastic. That's almost over there. We shouldn't run the risk of any of our iron teeth running into the bad water because, again, we're still using primarily bots to work everything. And now that we've got our charging stations up here, they don't have to run 5,000 miles to clear or to go get charged up, which is a glorious thing to see. That means their lives should be a little bit easier, hopefully, theoretically. That's how that works. And let's see how this is coming along down there. Are we all connected? We're all connected. We're all connected. Are we down here too? We are down there too. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now let's go ahead. We'll rip this out. And we should be able to pause or just run this through here. Like that. We'll give this a plus up over, or actually we'll just drop this priority-wise. So they're not causing or giving themselves any heartache or grief. That is too far from district, so we'll rip that out. You know, we'll just rip this tunnel out for now. Tunnel, go bye-bye. I would rather run power so I can get industry moving a little bit better. So let's give this a plus up there, and that'll be good. Then we can probably punch through here without too much consternation. Maybe we just run up and over. A little bit easier than trying anything ridiculous. So maybe that looks like maybe this. Or is that a 6? Oh, not enough science. Where'd all the science go? Oh my goodness. Never mind. Boo. We'll just run that like that. That'll be fine. That comes out to there, and then this goes up one there. This runs here, there, and this goes bye-bye. Then we connect that power-wise right there. We'll just go ahead and eat that right there and there. And we'll actually do this. We'll go there. We'll go here. Then we'll run this back like this. And 4.5 days went by pretty quickly, and we weren't able to actually accomplish what I had intended to get accomplished, but we are moving in a positive direction. That's not good. Hello? 8.5 days. Those are already gone. That's fine. This is all irrigated. Yeah. You don't like seeing that. You don't like seeing that at all. Okay. Gonna rip that out. Connect this here. Give this a plus up. There. Now we can rip this out. And reconnect this whole shtick right here. Bada bing, a bada a boom. Beautiful. All right. You love to see that. You have nothing to do within range. That's fine. You can be paused. And now our bots should have cleared out a portion of this. They can't reach that because stuff is in the way. Go ahead and tell them to clear that out. I'd like to figure out why we're not actually getting back here. Because they can't get back there. Means this needs to get torn out, and this needs to get torn out as well. We'll have to run our pathing that way, and then go ahead and probably just clear this out here and run power up and over. All right. I think we can unpause that too. All right. So that is working. They're tearing into that. We should have power moving this way here shortly, which means we get all of this turned back on, though it's not going to happen before the end of this temperate cycle, which is kind of stinky, but we should get that rectified soon-ish. We did get our first wood workshop in, so that is good to see. There's the end of our drought, which is also good to see. Somebody mentioned that I didn't have these prioritized by haulers. They're prioritized by haulers. Just a matter of not having enough haulers to meet the hauling demand. Get everybody up and through and all around and all the materials everywhere. Which should be rectified with the change of the builders now being haulers as well as builders, so we shall see how that all works out. We are going to turn all of these back on, as well as all of these, which is going to dip heavily into our hauling positions, which is fine and it is acceptable. Would also like to move this engine, or actually both of these engines, out to sit over top of here. Give us a little bit more real estate to work with, which would be a pretty Gucci. How is this coming along up here? That is dumping all of the water down into here for us, which is glorious. Let's check on this. So let's see here. I want this one to close above downstream depth of 1, and then we'll call this one close above downstream depth of 1.9. So that should store water back into this tube. Allegedly. Theoretically. We'll see if that's beneficial. One way or another. It shall be done. Yes. I'd like to get back here and clear more of that out. Can you reach all that? You can. Let's go ahead and plant a few more of those blueberries back here. Since those seem to be, or stay irrigated a little bit longer than not. That'd be good. Can you reach more of that? You can. I would like... how do I get somebody over there? Probably through burning material that I don't necessarily have right now. I would like to get them to finish this. That would be grand. We can get them to finish this too, which also requires gears, which are in low supply right now. Doesn't help that we are kind of out of beavers to do those things. We can turn all those guys back on though. That is good. We are pumping this out a lot. All the materials are getting to these systems though pretty quickly. All of this is filling in, it looks like. And that should not be stopping water from coming in here. We're going to pull that up to 1.95. So it'll close at 1.95, which means all of this should spill over, but we should never overcap this, obviously, because that's at 1.0. Allegedly. We'll see how true of a statement that is. Are we connected here? We are not. Means something is missing back here. Is that? Give that a priority bump. Let's go ahead and connect this up like such as... give this a priority bump as well. That requires our gears more than other things do, so that will take the priority too. That was a terrible pun. I feel bad for it. I apologize to no one, however, so you're just going to have to accept that for what it is. You're going to have to accept that for what it is. My terrible punniness. Yeah. Alright. So we can run that tubeway back into here, tap into this tubeway here. Don't want to have to go over that, but I can't really do anything about the poo water here. We're just gonna have to punch through. I think that's fine. We have the gears, we have the planks, and we have the explosives now, so we should be able to tap into that without too much consternation. That just means lining up with this line there, we go grab that and we run that through there. Now we just grab this right here, push that right there. This goes here, and then that goes this way, and then we'll put one explosive on this line right here, and then we can connect into that. And that means putting you right here. That should be fine. All right, how are we doing? Water-wise, we're at 3K units of water. We're on day 4. It looks like we're going to have near a max temperature cycle, which is a fantastic thing to see. How is this coming along? This is still not filling up, because this is constantly open because the downstream depth is 1.67, because we're still filling this side in constantly. So we'll see how beautiful this is over here. What are these guys doing though? What are they? Are they moving? They're getting materials out of this. We have a bad tide approaching. Ooh, we haven't had a bad tide in a minute. So that's cool. We'll get to see what that all turns into here in a little bit, and then we can also come over here and check on this. Let's see, did they get that all connected? No, they have not. I'd like to have this connected sometime soon, guys. That'd be great. All right. Now we're connected. 20,000. Wait, no, we're not connected. We're not connected. You not connected. Now we'll be connected. Everything will be blue then. And smack that. Just needs one little log and one little love tap, okay? And we'll have so much working. So much power running. That'll be glorious. It'll be absolutely amazing, and I'm here for it. Go ahead and get that guy out of here. Let them run and do whatever it is that they do with their lives. And that'll be a beautiful thing to see. We're still only at 3.6k units of water, which is not the greatest. Let's pause a couple of these builders' huts and get them pumping water for us for a little bit of time. We still have those 4 guys in there, and I'm not entirely sure where we're pulling from right now. We have... How do we have... Wait. Why do we have... How do we have 7 homeless beavers? How? Why? Why, how? Oh, you know what? That makes sense. Okay, never mind. Alright, for some strange reason, I was thinking I was playing Folktales. I'm not playing the Folktales. Alright, let's get this rectified real quick. We'll get some housing for these guys in here. That's simple enough. We'll throw somebody in there. That'll be fine. Okay. That'll cover down those beavers that are currently don't have a house to live in. They are homeless beavers. We can't have the homeless beavers. That's connected. That's beautiful. 1.7 days remaining. I would love to get more bots into pumpers so that we can pump out more of this water. That should put them filling all those spots for us, which is good. Go ahead and turn that back on right there. Get those guys in there, providing us with copious amounts of juice. And we'll have a whole bad tide to pump out all of the bad water that we'll ever need. Now, I would love to get over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say hello to this bad tide here in a few minutes, and I'm going to spend probably the next 6 to 9 minutes producing beautiful, beautiful water or potential for water in the future. Means I'm going to finish clearing the rest of this out. We're going to run power to all these systems, and we're going to get this up and running, and that'll be a beautiful thing for the whole world to see. And I am here for it. And we can actually steal that and turn this back on, because that's 50 sparkly planks right there. And that means that we can probably get this up and running. It'll be beautiful. It'll be glorious. It'll be a fantastical thing. So, I will see you guys in the next episode while we play with the tubeways and play with all of our power. That we have so much power, which means these guys can run in perpetuity, which means we can hopefully get these guys up and running sooner rather than later, which also means that we can turn this bad Johnny back on and stop burning our power or our water right there. Which means we'll have science for days, which means we'll be able to do all the fun things and start raging against the TimberPunk 2 regime and just have the greatest of times. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go while I finish clearing the rest of this up, and we'll see you on the next episode of TimberPunk 2. I'm out. Enjoy the speed up montage. See ya!
Shadowsblight stands on the dam like an overlord. Map spread out on a boxcar crate. Red X marks every twisted gate. Iron Teeth crew at his back, all scars. Counting clouds, counting drying jars. He laughs, line 'em up, we'll cut a path. Fight through briars, shoot through stone. Iron Teeth marching, claim our home. Shadowsblight pointing where the dry earth cries. 6 to 9 wells, and we rise. carving